Home is a base where things begin, or a place with heart and meaning. 3211 Pinckney Street was the home of the Mount Nebo Missionary Baptist Church for a great number of years. In 1933, during one of the greatest economic downturns in history, God sustained a faithful congregation who purchased the property. Through the coordinated efforts of the congregation who used their time, talents, and resources to bolster the property for a growing congregation. The building leaked, it lacked modern conveniences and furnishings, including indoor plumbing.
The church was in bad need of a repair. Sunday morning, if it rained, we used to run around with buckets it was a leak in the building. Then after that, then this building start, the pastor then told the member, we need to do something. And so Brother Jimmy C. made an announcement I don't know, was it on Sunday morning, whenever it was, that he said, well, every member ought to give $200 and within 30 days. And that's when repair.
In 1957, Reverend John H. Whittington was unanimously called to pastor the Mount Nebo Missionary Baptist Church. This turning point ushered change, just as the change was happening in the community and America at large.
It's amazing what this church has done. Up to 2003, and now at 2021. And to see how these ministers kind of in line, these pastors, with one another. The same biblical things, you'll be amazed.
A parsonage within walking distance of the church was purchased to facilitate the growth that came with the Whittington years. In 1961, that property that served as the Whittington's home was maintained just as the church structure was, by the hands of the men and women who made up the Mount Nebo Missionary Baptist Church family. The church grew, and due to that continued growth, the church was expanded. New plans for a structure were created in 1964 by Ambrose Jackson, founder of the first Black-owned architectural firm in Omaha. Some of his work can still be seen in the Ames Station U.S. Post Office, the Martin Luther King Center, the Omaha Housing Authority headquarters downtown, and several other Black churches in the community.
We hired a architect, and with the architect and a carpenter, the men of Mount Nebo built the other church around the new church, around the old church.
So you're telling me that the members, the men,
the men
built that church.
Built.
Wow,
with the help of and direction of a carpenter.
Pastor Whittington, which taught the 3 T's, tithes, talent, and the treasures. So the people gladly wanted to improve the church. I found people gladly gave their gifts. And of course the church was blessed and the individuals were blessed likewise.
The plan was to build onto the existing structure on Pinckney Street, facing John Creighton Boulevard. The men in the church completely built a new structure around the framework of the old one. The skills of the faithful men who were C's, Borders, Drivers, Ellis's, Tuckers, Lee's, McNeil's, Rogers, Jackson's, Simmons, Jones, and so many more that put their labor into building not only the body within the church, but its edifice as well.
There were members there that had expertise, like Reverend Whiters he was a minister and he had expertise. And of course, Winston Lee, and that there were other trustees that had expertise to help us do what we set out to do. And we took upon the project, and God really helped us to make sure that we completed that.
And all of this work was done after men and women had already been to work during the day. Deacon Sherwood Ellis recalled all of the men putting bolts in the roof, as well as people in the community who weren't even members coming to help during the construction. After serving the church for 9 years, Pastor Whittington presided over a dedication service celebrating the completion of the new edifice for the Mount Nebo Missionary Baptist Church at 3211 Pinckney Street.
As a congregation are informed about this edifice here.
In looking back, it is clear that we stand on the shoulders of those that have gone before us. But lest we forget the work of women who served in more ways than we have time to recount.
My mother's name was Mamie Bankston. She was president of the Usher Board. She was head of the trustee board. She was over the kitchen. She was president of the New Era Ushers. And she did a lot here, and she looked after the pastor. That's one thing she did. Whatever pastor needed, she fought to get for him.
Women whose last names were Boone, Brown, Clancy, Cotton, Cyrus, Daly, Davison, Dumas, Ellis, Hardy, Horton, Jefferson, Knight, Lawler, Nunn, Manise, Owens, Parks, Rogers, C., Stovall, Timberlake, Tipler, Tucker, Wilson, Whittington, Whitaker, White, and Yancey, just to name a few. Through fruitful years, God's grace, and the untiring efforts of Pastor Whittington and the membership, the church family continued to grow. Once again, in 1986, the church was faced with the realization all too familiar. We had simply outgrown our new building.
We're going to start here with Sunday school. We'll have a mass assembly. We'll have a closing farewell service, and then we shall be on our way. So if you'll do that, we will greatly appreciate it. Brother Rogers and Sister Rogers will be standing at the front door, welcoming the congregation to 5501. Can you all work that out?